Happy Monday, guys. Today is the first day in my week of 5 ingredient or less dinners, and I'm so excited to share this recipe with y'all. So for tonight, I'm doing meatball sub pitas, and this one is only 4 ingredients, and it seriously could not be any easier. So the first ingredient that you're gonna need is pita bread, obviously. I use the Joseph's. This is the flax, oat, and whole wheat one. One of these, they're pretty big size. They're like about hand size. One pita is 60 calories. That's 9 grams of carbs and 6 grams of protein. So not bad. I know they do make higher protein pitas now, but they are a bit higher in calorie, and I can't find them around me. So I just go with these. They are great. I love them. Next ingredient you're gonna need, another obvious one, is meatballs. So you can use any kind of meatballs you want, beef, turkey, chicken, whatever. I prefer using the Kid Fresh chicken meatballs because you get a lot of them for very little calories. So 6 meatballs or 80 grams for 140 calories, 10 grams of protein. So these are delicious. I love them. They're easy to find for me. These are the exact same ones I used in my meatball sub bubble up bake in a couple videos before this. And I had some extra boxes on hand, so perfect for that. Next up, you're gonna need a cheese of choice. I use fat-free mozzarella just because I have it and it's very macro-friendly. So 9 grams of protein in a quarter cup of this. So really can't go wrong with fat-free mozzarella. Then finally, you're gonna need a tomato sauce of choice. I've mentioned before that I use Hunt's and just doctor it up with some seasonings, and it's cheap, easy, it's really good. So I'll be using this. You can use any kind of tomato sauce, red sauce you want. So this is a super easy meal to throw together. So I'm gonna get started on that and let me show you guys what I'm doing. So the way I like to prepare these meatballs is in the air fryer. They're super tiny, like literally so small, so you can put a lot in here at once. I usually stick them in on 400 for about 10 minutes, taking them and shaking them every like 2 to 3 minutes and just checking them, poking them a bit, making sure they're not getting overly cooked. And these are fully cooked, so really you're just heating them, thawing them, and heating them. So I think putting them in the air fryer makes them really crispy and just gives them like a really nice texture for the meatball sub pitas. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick these in, and then I will check on them in a few minutes and show you my next steps. Okay, so here is my pita. I have it sitting on a food scale. I know you guys probably can't see that, but I have this sitting on a food scale. My meatballs are all done, so I'm just gonna add those directly on top of the pita. Spread them out a little bit. And then I'm gonna turn on my food scale underneath. And in this bowl, I've already mixed together all of my seasonings and spices to go into the tomato sauce, and I'm tracking for 50 grams. So I'm going to turn on my scale and add 50 grams of this sauce to the top of the meatballs and all throughout the pita. All right, so that's 50 grams. And then finally, I'm just going to go in with the fat-free mozzarella, and I've tracked for 20 grams of that. So zero out my scale and then sprinkle 20 grams. There we go, on top. Even it out a bit. And then finally, I think I've shared on here my little secret for fat, it's not a secret, everybody does it, for fat-free cheese. Just spray a little bit of cam spray on top of the cheese, that way it melts nicely. I'm just gonna stick this in the microwave. You could definitely put this in the oven to get it crispier, but I'm not really that pressed about it right now. I'm just gonna put it in the microwave for about 45 seconds to a minute. I'll check on it at 45 seconds, but if it's still not melted completely, I'll check it again at a minute, and then it will be ready to go. So I'll show you guys what that looks like when it's all done. All right, so here it is, all finished up out of the microwave. As you can see, the cheese got really nice and melty, and it's a pretty big sized pita, like it's about the size of my hand. So this is definitely super filling, and again, it was only 4 ingredients. You can obviously add more if you want more toppings inside of it, but this is totally fine for me. So I'm gonna actually serve this with some shredded lettuce with Caesar dressing on top of it because that's the only ingredients I have right now. But yeah, so for the meal itself, 4 ingredients and whatever you wanna add to the side of it. So I'll be sure to include the ingredients and the macros for this at the slide at the beginning of this clip. So I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy this, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another 5 ingredient meal. What's up, you guys? I'm back with another 5 ingredient dinner. Today's Tuesday, so for Taco Tuesday, I'm doing something a little different, still Mexican themed, but not tacos for a change. So today I'm doing a beef enchilada bake. So this is a 5 ingredient, well, kind of 4, kind of 5. I'll explain in a minute. But first thing you're gonna need is some lean ground beef. I always get 96.4 or 97.3, whatever my store has. You're also gonna need some enchilada sauce. I use the mild red from Old El Paso. Also, some extra thin yellow corn tortillas. I love these. These are really good in macros too for tacos. You can have 3 of these for 120 calories, so I love them. They're a really good size. The fourth ingredient is fat-free cheese, or really any cheese that you want to use. I always just use fat-free cheddar. And then here's where it's like kind of 5. So I like putting diced green chilies in mine for a more like authentic enchilada taste, but Michael hates green chili, so I'm not putting them in there today. I might put them on top of mine, but I'm not baking it with it. So you could do that if you like them. So that's why I'm saying it's 4, kind of 5 ingredients, but either way, super simple. The first thing I'm gonna do is cook up the ground beef. I'm just gonna pour maybe like a quarter of this sauce into the beef while I'm cooking it instead of like a taco seasoning or anything like that. I might add some chili powder, paprika, things that would typically be in like a traditional taco seasoning just to give some flavor. But once we add the sauce into the actual casserole, it's gonna be very flavorful, so not worried about that. So yeah, the first thing I'm gonna do is cook this up, and since it's just browning ground beef, I'm not gonna film that part, so I will be back once this is cooked and I'm starting to assemble the casserole. Okay, I know this angle probably isn't great, but if you can see over here, I have my, there we go, my cooked ground beef with the enchilada sauce and seasonings. I have some cheese over here, the enchilada sauce over here, and then just a stack of tortillas back over here. So what I'm gonna do now is layer everything in, and I've already weighed out all of the ingredients, like the sauce I weighed out, the cheese, the tortillas, the meat's already accounted for. So now all I have to do is assemble it. So first things first, give it a nice little touch of cooking spray. And there's like really no like method to doing this. I just kind of like stick them around, cover the bottom. And then I'm gonna add my first layer of ground beef. And again, I don't measure this, I just eyeball it. I just make sure it's covering the bottom, making sure it's a nice layer of beef, pretty even all across. Okay, and now I'm gonna add a little bit of cheese on top of the beef. And last thing for this layer, I'm gonna add a little bit of the enchilada sauce. All right, so now I'm just gonna repeat those steps over and over until I run out of ingredients. All right, so that is it. And you guys know my fat-free cheese hack. Just give the top a quick spritz with a little more cooking spray. Oops, there's the oven. And you could definitely do this more even. Like I tend to put a lot on the bottom just so it's got like a nice base to it, and then just add a couple tortillas at a time on top. You could do it a lot more even and like cut the tortillas smaller so they all fit like nicely and pretty, but it's fine. It still tastes delicious. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick this in the oven for about 15-ish minutes on 350, just until the cheese is melted. Everything's obviously already cooked, so we don't have to worry about anything like cooking through. It's just kind of making sure everything's warmed up together and that the cheese is melted. So I will show you guys what that looks like when it's done. All right, fresh out of the oven after 15 minutes, and this is what we're looking like. Oh my gosh, the cheese is so melty and it's getting all bubbly around the corners. I felt a couple of the tortillas and they are getting crispy, so it is perfect the way it is. So I know it doesn't look super appetizing like this, but I'm gonna cut it up, put out my portion, and then I will show you guys how I serve it and how many calories my serving is. All right, and here is my plated serving. So this is right around 310 calories for my serving, just for the enchilada bake. The side itself is like 50 calories maybe. It's just shredded lettuce with some fat-free sour cream. The only place I can find fat-free sour cream nowadays is Harris Teeter. Let me know if your grocery stores, like local stores, carry it, because none of mine do anymore for some reason. But yeah, it looks so good. It smells super cheesy. You could also add like hot sauce or sriracha to this if you want, but yeah, that's it for tonight, and I'll be back with another dinner tomorrow. What's up guys, it is dinner time once again, and I'm so excited for tonight's meal. This is a recipe that we make really frequently, whether it be for meal prep lunches or for dinner. We are just obsessed with this stuff. It is so good. It is 5 ingredients, and it is barbecue chicken mac and cheese. The recipe is from masonfit.com. Mason Woodruff, he's a like macro-friendly like Instagram website food blogger, recipe creator. You know the type. But anyway, here's what you're gonna need. So in this bowl, I have already cooked and shredded crock-pot barbecue chicken. So this is 2 ingredients. All this is chicken breast, boneless chicken breast, and the sugar-free or no sugar added Ray's hickory barbecue sauce. So that's 2 ingredients right there. The next ingredient you're gonna need is some type of pasta of your choice. I like using the Banza just because there is a tiny bit more protein than regular pasta, not like any crazy amount, but just a little bit extra. So I'll take any protein anywhere I can get, and I love this cavatappi like spirally shape for mac and cheese. Love it. You're also gonna need a little bit of milk, your choice of milk. I'm just using like skim, regular dairy milk. And then this part is kind of where I messed up a little bit. You are gonna need quite a bit of cheddar cheese, but I forgot that I was using cheddar in like every recipe this week. So I only have this much cheddar left, but I do have some mozzarella. So you're gonna need quite a bit of fat-free cheese. Whatever kind you wanna use is up to you. So I'm gonna be using a mix of cheddar and mozzarella. So since the chicken is already done, what I'm gonna do now, I have a pot boiling over here with water to cook my pasta. So once the pasta is cooked, then I will show you guys how I assemble it to stick it into the oven. All right, so as you can see, I have the pasta here fully cooked and drained. So the next thing that you're gonna do, the directions say to reserve 1 cup of pasta water. So I have a cup of the pasta water. I'm gonna add that back in, as well as a cup of the skim milk. So the water and the milk go in, and make sure the stove is just on the lowest setting possible. I just have mine over low heat right now. And now you're just gonna stir it to cover all the noodles and just make sure everything is mixed together. All right, so the next thing that you're gonna do, earlier when I was mentioning the like large amounts of cheese, so the whole recipe in total calls for 10 ounces, 8 ounces first and then 2 ounces to top with. So this is 8 ounces of the mixed fat-free mozzarella and cheddar, and I'm just gonna go ahead and add it in slowly, like 1 handful at a time, and mix it just to make sure it all gets nice and cheesy. And you'll do this until all 8 ounces of the first batch of cheese is mixed in. All right, so as you can see, the cheese is starting to melt into it and get nice and stringy and melty. So I'm just gonna let this sit for a couple minutes just to let some of the liquid from the milk and the pasta water absorb in the cheese and the pasta a little bit. And then once it's nice and thick, I'm gonna give it one last stir, and then I'll show you the next steps. All right, so it is thickened up and looking really nice. I don't know if you can see like the cheese pulls coming from this, like it looks amazing. It is amazing. So this next part I do a little bit different than the instructions. So the directions online say to add this into your casserole dish and then top it with the barbecue chicken and mix it in the casserole dish. My dish is like super shallow, so mixing it gets kind of messy. So what I do is I just add the barbecue chicken right into the pot with the pasta, mix it all in here, and then pour it in the dish. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. All right, so there it is, looking so good. So now what I'm gonna do is transfer this into my casserole dish, and then I will show you what I top it with before I stick it into the oven. All right, so here it is, all nice and put into the casserole dish evenly. And now you're gonna take that last 2 remaining ounces of cheese and just sprinkle it evenly across the top. And the other last thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take a little bit more barbecue sauce and you're just gonna drizzle it across the top. This is more for like making it pretty, honestly. This kind of like dries up and cooks into it while it's in the oven, but I mean, come on, it just looks pretty. So there you have it. This is everything you need. And now I'm gonna stick it in the oven on 400 for 8 to 10 minutes or until that top layer of cheese is nice and melty. All right, here it is, fresh out of the oven. It's super hot, super bubbly around the corners, you can see. The cheese is all melty on top. It smells amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and weigh out my portion. I allotted for 300 grams, I think, tonight, like portion size, which equates to about 340, 350 calories, and over 40 grams of protein, I think like 42 or something. So really good, macro-friendly, super easy. The only thing is it takes all day because it's a crock pot meal, but this is great if you like don't work from home or if you go into the office or you're gone. Just stick the chicken in the morning, let it cook, shred it up when you get home, and then finish it for dinner. So I'm gonna go ahead and plate this and I'll show you my serving. All right, so she's not the prettiest plated meal in the world, but so yummy. This is a really big portion, actually. It's more than I was expecting it to be. This is like a pretty big sized dinner plate, so This is a really good amount. I think this is gonna keep me full until dessert later, but you guys should definitely try this recipe out. I 10 out of 10 recommend every recipe that I've tried so far from Mason Fit. His website and the Skinniest Dish are two of my absolute favorites. I have not found a recipe yet from either of them that I didn't love. So if anyone out there is looking for new recipe, new meal inspo, highly recommend checking one of those two out. Hey guys, welcome to the last part of this 5 ingredient or less dinner series. I'm so excited for this one. This was something that I ate a lot in the beginning of my weight loss journey, and I just haven't had it in probably like 2 years. Now I did mess up and I am missing one ingredient, but we're rolling with it. So we're doing Copycat KFC bowls. So I make mine a little bit differently. I know these are really popular with like Weight Watchers, and like I know there's a lot of like influencers who like post similar bowls. I do mine a little bit differently just to make them more macro friendly and fit into my day a little easier. So here's the first substitution. Instead of mashed potatoes, I use mashed cauliflower. I hate cauliflower rice, you guys know this, but this stuff actually tastes like pretty close to potatoes when you mix it with all the other stuff. I don't really notice the difference. And I like to load this up with like garlic powder and onion powder and spray butter, so it has the same flavors and all as regular mashed potatoes. So you can either use mashed cauliflower or potatoes, doesn't matter. So that's one ingredient. Second ingredient is chicken. Now, obviously a real KFC bowl uses like popcorn, fried, breaded chicken, and you can do that. Tyson makes like air fried popcorn chicken, I think, or like air fried chicken nuggets. I just can't find them anywhere near me, so this is the best I can do. The blackened chicken strips, I'll just air fry a couple and then cut them up. So your second ingredient is any kind of chicken nugget, chicken that you can cut up into nugget-sized bites. Third ingredient is just plain yellow corn. I just use canned corn. And then fourth ingredient is gravy. I know the real KFC bowl, I think, uses brown gravy, like dark gravy, beef gravy, maybe. I don't like that kind. I like the chicken gravy, the light stuff. They do make a fat-free version of this, but A, it's hard to find, and B, this only has 1 gram of fat in it per serving, so it's like literally the same calories except for 1 gram of fat. So if you can't find fat-free, do not stress about it. I just get the regular. And then the one ingredient that I'm missing that is traditionally included in this, and I'll have it on the screen with the ingredients before this, is cheese, shredded cheese. So like fat-free cheddar, whatever you have on hand. I just underestimated how many recipes this week were gonna have cheese in them. So that's on me. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started with this, and I'll show you guys what I'm doing. All right, so first things first, I measured out 130 grams of the blackened chicken strips. I'm just gonna put them in my air fryer for about 10 to 12 minutes on 400 degrees, just shaking them and flipping them around every few minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick these in here, and then I will start on the mashed potatoes, or mashed cauliflower. All right, so here is what the mashed cauliflower looks like. It comes in a little tray that looks just like the reduced goat mac and cheese from Trader Joe's. I'm going with the microwave instructions, not the oven. So just microwave it for 4 minutes, take it out, stir it, and then put it back in for another 3 to 4. So by the time this is all said and done, the chicken should be finished, hopefully. So when both of these are done cooking, I will start filming again and show you guys how I put the bowl together. All right, so here we go. The mashed cauliflower is done, and I don't know if you can see the steam coming up. Yeah, like over here. It's so hot, so I'm gonna let this sit for a minute because that is going to burn my face off if I try to eat it. But the chicken tenders are also done, and I went ahead and cut them up into little bite-sized pieces. They're nice and crispy. I cook them in the microwave when I'm just eating them like as a quick lunch or something, and I don't really want to like dirty my air fryer and then clean it and a whole thing, but they're so much better in the air fryer, seriously. Like the skin is so crispy, they're so soft, like they're literally perfect. So I'm just gonna add these right into the cauliflower, spread them around a bit. Yeah, so then I'm gonna go ahead and open the can of corn, heat the gravy, and then I'll show you the final steps. All right, so here it is, all finished. I used 120 grams of corn and then 75 grams of the gravy. You could definitely make this a lot more like aesthetically pleasing than I did, but it's good either way. It's so delicious. I love gravy. I love like Southern food. I grew up eating that, so the fact that I can make this like macro friendly and make this fit into my day makes me so happy. Like I said, I haven't had this in like probably 2 years, so I'm so excited to eat this. But yeah, that concludes this week 5 ingredient dinners. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this gave some ideas for you guys. I know I love watching videos like this, especially during times of the year where I'm a little bit more busy and might not have like all the time in the world to make like elaborate high ingredient dinner. So I hope this was helpful to at least somebody out there. Let me know down below what you thought, what your favorite 5 ingredient meals are, which one of these you'd like to try, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.